Assalamualaikum students, I'm Professor Muhammad Askar from Fauji Foundation Hospital, Lahore. Today our topic will be electrolyte management in body. It will be in continuation of our previous lecture on fluid imbalances. Now today we are going to deal with our uh, electrolyte imbalances. So here we start. So what are the electrolyte imbalances? What are the main electrolytes in the body? These are the sodium, chloride, magnesium, calcium, potassium. What are the functions of these electrolytes in our body? It is calcium, necessary for muscle contraction, nerve function, blood clotting, cell division. Chloride, I think we have to stop for a while. Okay, now we are going good. Yes, we are having the recording. Okay. Now, chloride maintains fluid balance in the body. Potassium regulates heart contraction, help maintain fluid balances. Whereas magnesium necessary for muscle contraction, nerve function, heart, bone strength, generating energy and building proteins. Sodium maintain body fluid and necessary for muscle contraction and nerve functions. So what are the body fluid disturbances? They are mainly classified into three broad categories: change in volume, hypervolemia, change in concentration, hyponatremia, change in composition, acid-base imbalances, concentration changes in calcium, magnesium, and potassium. So, what does hyponatremia cause? Hyponatremia means water intoxication. Water is more than the sodium. So, if there's moderate increase in the water overload, as we have seen in our previous lecture, there may be twitching in muscles. In severe cases, may lead to convulsion, increased tendon reflexes, increased ICP. There may be in severe cases loss of reflexes. Whereas CVS may show changes in blood pressure, decreased pulse secondary to increased ICP. Tissue can tell us increased salivation, lacrimation, watery diarrhea, fingerprinting of skin. There may be oliguria and uria, whereas hypernatremia of water deficit may lead to restlessness. In moderate cases, delirium. In severe cases, weakness of the muscle or maniacal behavior or hyperactive aggressive behaviors. There may be tachycardia, hypotension. There may be decreased saliva, tears, dry, sticky and mucous membrane, swollen and red tongue, flushed skin, oliguria or none. Management strategy in concentration changes. Uh, uh, we'll give a pause here. We'll see if we are still having the recording going on so that we may not miss important things. Yeah, we are still having the recording. So management strategy and concentration changes, hyponatremia. Estimation of sodium deficit by the formula. This is the formula we calculate the deficit of sodium and how we replace it. Half fraction of the estimated sodium deficit as calculated from the formula. Rest the body compensate by itself. Whereas hyponatremia, we estimate the excess sodium and we replace it with volume of 5% dextrose to be infused at this rate. Then there is a composition change, acid-base imbalances, respiratory acidosis, respiratory alkalosis, metabolic acidosis, and metabolic alkalosis, where the normal pH of the body range from 7.36 to 7.44. So in respiratory acidosis, the main defect is the retention of carbon dioxide as a result of decreased the most common alveolar ventilation. The causes may be depression of the respiratory center, CNS injury, pulmonary disease. Increased denominator, the lower, the one is increased, ratio is decreased because the denominator is increased. And the compensation is by renal retention of bicarbonates, excretion of the acid salts, increased NH3 formation and chloride shift into cells. Treatment is this is by the restoration of normal alveolar ventilation. Respiratory alkalosis. The defect is mainly increased loss of carbon dioxide because of increased alveolar ventilation. Causes may be hyperventilation, pain, or assisted ventilation, patient on ventilators. There is a decreased denominator, the ratio increase. The compensation is by renal, excretion of bicarbonate, retention of acid salt, and decreased NH3. Treatment is by correction of the underlying cause, and including the alleviation of pain, emotional distress, and hypoxia. Rebreathing and increasing airway dead space are both used where appropriate. Then there is metabolic alkalosis. The effect may be loss of fixed acids, gain of base bicarbonate, and potassium depletion. Causes may be pyloric obstruction where repeated vomiting lead into loss of hydrochloride rich fluid, leading into decrease in potassium and loss of acids. And other causes may be of alkalosis, excess intake of bicarbonates orally, then there may be loop diuretics that can cause excess acid loss or excess retention of bicarbonates. There's an increased denominator, the ratio increase, the upper 20 value is increased. Compensation is usually from pulmonary, that comes rapidly. Then there is a decrease rate and depth of breathing, and renal compensation is slow to come. Treatment is volume repletion, saline and potassium repletion with potassium chloride are usually adequate to correct alkalosis. Oral NH4 chloride or 0.1 molar hydrochloride acid infusion are very rarely given under controlled circumstances. Then there is metabolic acidosis. The effect is retention of fixed acids, loss of base. Causes may be diabetes, azotemia, diarrhea, and small bowel high output biliary bowel fistulas. There is a decreased denominator ratio. Compensation comes from pulmonary, that is rapid, increased rate and depth of breathing. Renal compensation is always slow. Treatment is the removal of the underlying cause, re-establishment of volume and adequate perfusion rapidly. Reverse lactic acidosis, sodium bicarbonate infusion should be used consciously. Large doses may be needed to restore cardiac functions, make falling cardiac arrest and acute and severe acidosis. This is the formula for calculating the deficit and the replacement formula. The buffering mechanism for composition changes. In respiratory acidosis, the pH decreases, but there is a compensatory PCO2 increase, where the plasma level in moderate cases remain normal. In respiratory alkalosis, the pH increases and PCO2 decreases, and the metabolic component remains almost normal. And metabolic acidosis, the pH decreases, whereas PCO2 almost remain normal in mild moderate cases, whereas plasma bicarbonate level decreases. And metabolic acidosis, pH increases, while PCO2 remain almost normal, and plasma bicarbonate level increases as a metabolic component for compensatory mechanism. These are acute cases, where in chronic partially compensated cases, respiratory acidosis, pH will decrease, PCO2 will increase, plasma SCO2 will increase. Respiratory alkalosis, pH will increase, PCO2 will increase, and plasma SCO3 will decrease. Metabolic acidosis, pH is decreasing, PCO2 is decreasing, and plasma SCO3 is also decreasing. In metabolic alkalosis, pH will increase, PCO2 will increase, and plasma SCO3 will also increase. All will increase. Normally, in clinical circumstances, we come across mixed acid-base disturbances. These are difficult to diagnose. These tend to cancel each other and result in minimal pH changes and ECG changes. For example, Metabolic acidosis is a combination with respiratory alkalosis may occur with septicemia. Metabolic acidosis with a respiratory acidosis is a frequent event in the emergency situation of cardiorespiratory arrest, stranded bicarbonate concentration of bicarbonate in plasma, when whole blood with fully oxygenated oxygen has been equilibrated with carbon dioxide at a PCO2 of 40 mm of mercury at a temperature of 38 degree centigrade. Base excess directly expresses the amount in millicoulombs fixed base added to each liter of the blood. Base, this is the formula of calculating base deficit on excess so that it can be replaced accordingly. These are the main ions present in the body fluids. In the GI fluids, secretion, saliva, stomach, duodenum, ileum, colon, pancreas, bile. These are the total secretion of these gastrointestinal multiple organs. And these are the sodium, potassium, chloride, and bicarbonate concentration, each of them. Alteration in potassium. What will be the clinical feature of hyperkalemia? The main clinical feature will be shown by CVS. The ECG changes. These are typical peak T waves, widened QR complexes, depressed ST segments, disappearance of T waves, heart block and systolic cardiac arrest. And the GIT manifestations will be nausea, vomiting, and colic diarrhea. Treatment will be stop exogenous potassium administration. Underlying cause, treat reverse cardiotoxic effect by giving potassium gluconate 10%, ECG monitoring, glucose insulin drip. Insulin help in taking the potassium inside into the cell and decreasing their blood levels, along with glucose, rapid alkalinization of extracellular fluid by lactate or bicarbonates, cautious exchange resins, and peritoneal dialysis or hemodialysis or renal failure cases. Then hypokalemia. Causes may be increased renal excretion, administration of potassium-free liquids, parenteral nutrition without potassium, or high GI fistulas. Clinical feature may be facial paralysis, decreased tendon reflexes, paralytic ileus, ECG alteration of the T waves. Treatment will be replacement of estimated deficit. This is accomplished more slowly for mild deficit with oral supplements and potassium-rich food or by intravenous therapy if deficit is more severe. Monitoring with an ECG and potassium measurements are recommended if potassium is given more rapidly. Correction of alkalosis, although when it is mild, simple provision of potassium and rehydration is usually sufficient also to correct alkalosis. Correction of other predisposing factors including modification of diuretic therapy and treatment of the causes of catabolism and excess fluididosis. Consider prevention by adequate potassium supplement in patient at risk. These potassium supplements are given orally. Then there is alteration in calcium. Ionized calcium is about 40% of the total calcium responsible for neuromuscular stability. Acidosis increases ionized fraction, where alkalosis decreases the ionized fraction. Ionized fraction is the active calcium present in the body. Causes of hypocalcemia may be acute pancreatitis, acute renal failure, chronic renal failure, hypoparathyroidism, soft tissue infection, intestinal fistula. Clinical features may be cardiopedal spasm. These domestic signs and closest signs we are well familiar with. Treatment may be of the underlying cause, oral or IV infusion of calcium gluconate, lactate slowly under ECG monitoring. For blood-induced hypocalcemia, 2 cc of calcium chloride, 500 cc of blood if the rate of transfusion is 100 cc per minute. Hypercalcemia is caused by either malignancy, sarcoidosis, Mel-Calculi syndrome, hypervitaminosis D, hyperparathyroidism. Clinical feature may be fatigue, lassitude, weakness, somnolent, stupor, coma. Treatment may be fluid replacement, diuretics, Lasix, such as classic loop diuretics, oral IV inorganic phosphate to inhibit true resorption, contraindication in chronic renal failure patients, steroid methromycin. These are the anti-cancer drugs, methromycins. They can cause hypercalcemia. They can reduce the calcium level. Magnesium is an important component of the body. Hypomagnesemia may cause muscular tremor, fasciculation, ocular nystagmus, tetany, altered mental state, cardiac arrhythmias such as multifocal ventricular tachycardia, ataxia, vertigo, seizures, and dysphagia. Whereas the treatment is for severe or symptomatic hypomagnesemia is 1 to 2 grams of IV magnesium sulfate over 5 to 60 minutes, followed by continuous infusion of 1 milliequivalent per kg per 24 hours. For multifocal ventricular tachycardia, 1 to 2 grams of magnesium sulfate IV push over 5 to 20 minutes. For seizures, give 2 grams IV magnesium sulfate over 10 minutes. Administration of calcium is usually appropriate because most patients with hypomagnesemia are also hypocalcemic. Treatment will be monitoring of magnesium therapy, check deep tendon reflex every 15 minutes, periodic monitoring of serum magnesium concentration, reduced dose in renal failure, contraindication in heart block or extreme myocardial damage, maintain urine output. Overtreatment may result by 10% calcium gluconate, 10 to 20% followed by fluid load and diuretics. Hypermagnesemia etiology may be renal failure patient, most common cause, treatment of preeclampsia with IV magnesium sulfate, acute renal failure with acute rhabdomyolysis, acute rhabdomyolysis or the acute necrosis of the muscles, diabetic ketoacidosis without treatment. Neuromuscular manifestation may be muscular weakness, muscular paralysis leading to respiratory depression, respiratory failure, no effects on central respiratory drive. Cardiac manifestation may be hypertension, peripheral vasodilatation, bradyarrhythmias, and cardiac asystole. EC changes may be prolonged PR interval, prolonged QRS duration and QT interval, or complete heart block. Treatment may be eliminate the main source of increase. 10% calcium chloride or 10% calcium gluconate will often correct lethal arrhythmias. IV saline diuresis administration of IV's normal saline and furosemide can be used to increase renal excretion of magnesium until dialysis can be performed. Dialysis is the treatment of choice for severe hypermagnesemia. Then we can use artificial respiration. Hypophosphatemia may result in paresthesia, muscular weakness, acute respiratory failure, confusion, coma, cardiac arrhythmias, or decreased systemic volume. Treatment may be dietary, IV replacement, severe cases, major nursing role, monitoring for diarrhea, mixed supplement with chilled ice water. Then there are cases of hyperphosphatemia that may result in tachycardia, restlessness, anorexia, nausea, vomiting, tetany, tingling and numbness of fingertips, muscle spasm. Treatment may be diet restriction. You can give milk, meat and fish. Administer phosphate binding products, calcium acetate, calcium carbonate or aluminum hydroxide. Dialysis in severe renal disease. Uh, with this, we've come to the end of the topic of all the important electrolytes, their imbalances, their short, they're going into deficiency, they're going into excess, how they are treated, and what their clinical features. If you still have any queries, you can email on the above mentioned email address. So I thank you all uh, for a patient listening. With this, we are going to end our lecture on electrolyte imbalance. Thank you very much.